Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really great and ready for today's video. So, Parseltongue Horcruxes, what have they got in common? Well, quite a lot according to what I've been researching. Now, I've always been interested in the origins of certain things from the magical world. Like, how was the Horcrux created? How are spells made? And today's video, how did Parseltongue originate? Honestly, like, where did this language come from? How did someone just come along and magically teach himself the ability to speak to snakes? You can't, right? It would have to be something he inherited. And with the Gaunt family, for example, that was exactly the case. That means Parseltongue had to originate with someone and something. In addition to that, what has it got to do with Voldemort's snake-like appearance? I'll be answering all of those questions in today's video, so with that being said, make yourself comfy and enjoy today's video. Okay guys, let's get things started. Parseltongue, as many of you know, is the extremely rare ability to speak to snakes. The language can't be learned or taught as it is hereditary, but certain phrases can be memorized when repeated enough and actually be effective too, like Ron Weasley has demonstrated. Now the question is, how did this language originate? Where did it originate? And with who did it originate? Before I answer that, I just want to highlight that the ability to speak to snakes has only ever been known to exist within the Gaunt family line, who, as we are all aware, are descendants of Salazar Slytherin, one of the 4 Hogwarts founders. Now that's not to say they were the only Parselmouths in existence, but from what we know and the knowledge available to us, that's the case for now. Okay, so Salazar Slytherin was a known Parselmouth. It was something he was very proud of. He also heavily incorporated snakes into his everyday surroundings. A snake is the emblem of House Slytherin, and the man just seems to be too keen on snakes himself. It's as if they mean a lot more to him than most would think. The question is, why? Even the Gaunts proudly spoke to each other only in Parseltongue, as the snake was an important part of their wizarding heritage also, being related to Salazar himself. So that leaves us with Slytherin being one of the earliest known Parselmouths, but the question remains, who is he descended from? Well, in ancient Greece, around 2000 years ago, there lived a man known as Herpo the Foul. This guy was the worst of the worst. He was obsessed with dark magic. He created vile, evil spells intended to harm, but he's most famous for 2 things. He was the first person to successfully hatch a basilisk egg, and he was the original creator of the Horcrux. This man discovered how to split one's soul in order to create immortality. Now, as many of us know, a Horcrux is created when the person stores a piece of their torn soul inside an object. It can be a living animal or an inanimate object. If I were to guess, I'd say the amount of people who have successfully created a Horcrux could be counted on one hand. It's such a dark form of magic that nearly all those who've heard of the process fear the consequences of it and what it takes to become immortal. There's a huge difference between using an object or a live animal when creating a Horcrux, and this is where it gets interesting. An inanimate object is just that. It's a solid, lifeless item that will contain part of the soul that has been stored in it without any difficulty or complication, and is extremely difficult to destroy. An animal, a living being, well, that's a whole different story. What if the first Horcrux Herpo the Foul ever created was his basilisk? Think about it for a second. Think about how unpredictable the outcome could be of placing part of your soul inside a huge, giant snake. The snake can feel, it can think, it has to have some kind of spirit within it. You can't just barge in with part of your soul and force it into a basilisk's body without something being forced out. What if part of the basilisk entered Herpo the Foul? What if that's how communication between the two originally started? What if that's how we could talk to a snake, and that is how the first ever Parselmouth was created from the first Horcrux? As an immortal, Herpo had children and passed on the magical ability to speak to snakes to his children, who then passed it on to their children, and so on. Why else would the snake be so heavily focused upon by all families who were gifted with the ability to speak Parseltongue? Because their ancestor created it. Salazar Slytherin was also fully determined to keep the bloodlines pure, possibly for fear of the Parselmouth being bred or filtered out through Muggle blood. What about the unwavering loyalty from those who descended from Slytherin? Corvinus Gaunt, for example, in the 1700s, doing everything to keep the Chamber of Secrets hidden. The Locket of Slytherin treated as if it was the crown jewel of the Gaunt family. It all begins to make sense if you think about it. The Gaunt line was already flushed with the blood of the once immortal Herpo the Foul. Look at how naturally gifted young Tom Riddle was. This boy could do things at the age of 7 or 8 without a wand that most mature, experienced wizards could only ever dream of doing. Tom obviously went on to become Lord Voldemort, as we all know. He's best known as the man with the serpent-like appearance, slits for eyes, serpent nostrils, his nose completely gone, hairless, pale-skinned, almost scale-like. How did he end up looking like a snake? Let's go back to his last visit with Albus Dumbledore, when his appearance was changing drastically. He was still Tom Riddle, but that handsomeness that Harry remembered had definitely left him. Tom still had a nose. He was still mostly human-like in appearance, but the Horcruxes were taking their toll on him physically. But he still looked like a human before his first downfall. How he looked on his return to power was not like his appearance that night in Godric's Hollow when he went to kill Harry Potter. This new body that he acquired was just that, new. And the reason why he looked so serpentine was because of his connection to Nagini. Voldemort created the Nagini Horcrux while in his rudimentary body. This wasn't his natural body. He had already made several Horcruxes before, so it's hard to confirm what was actually left of his soul, what was remaining, meaning whatever the Horcrux process forced out of Nagini, who had a soul, she was a person beforehand, don't forget, then became part of him. He and Nagini now became part of each other. They had part of each other's soul within them. Even Harry Potter had held part of Voldemort's soul within him his entire life. And the only reason part of Harry's soul didn't live within the Dark Lord is because it was unintentional. The Horcrux ritual wasn't performed. Therefore, only Voldemort's soul lived within Harry. Because Voldemort had such little humanity left within him, his connection to Nagini caused his appearance to become overwhelmingly influenced by the part of Nagini that was now within him. That's where the eyes came from. That's where the nostrils came from. That's why he seemed to have a bond with Nagini like no other. In all honesty, I know there's so many theories and reasons out there as to why Voldemort looks how he does. Sure, I've even got 2 videos I've made previously on how the Horcruxes affected his appearance, and I really love that researching and coming across new information can change my own perspective on things. Anyway guys, with that being said, that is my video on how Parseltongue originated and why Voldemort had such a snake-like, serpentine appearance. Now I know the comments are going to be interesting, so let me know what you think down below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, have a great day, be happy, and please remember, be kind as well. Thank you so much for watching, I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion, however it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at Folklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.